Hey guys, Chance with Praying and Predators coming to you today with a review of the Hornady VT V-Match. The Hornady V-Match is an ELD-VT projectile 6mm arc 80 grains. It's the new offering they have in 6mm arc for us coyote hunters. So on the box it's saying they're getting 30-20 probably out of 24-inch barrel. With a 200-yard zero, you're 1.5 inches at high, you're 6.8 inches low at 300, about 20 inches at 400, and 40 inches at 500. So I was only able to get a couple of boxes of these from Midway. They limited me to 2. They came in, had to try them out, had a tournament coming up that weekend. Definitely wanted to try the new hotness and see what all the hype was about. Get them zeroed in 3 shots, not a problem. My muzzle velocity was 2980 for it, and I'm running an 18-inch Excalibur barrel with a KGM R6 can for it, but so I was a little slow versus their velocity, but worked great. You know, stacked holes right on top of each other. You know, 3 rounds on top of each other, 1 ragged hole. Couldn't ask for more out of a factory offering. First rounds out of the box for after I got zeroed. So confirmation zero at 150 yards just to make sure that everything was good. I was about 1 inch, 1.5 inches high on my coyote silhouette target, and when it hit with authority. It definitely, you know, sounded like it had some power behind it. So I was excited to get out and try it. So first night of the Brunswick County coyote hunt tournament, go out, have a double come in. We get them to about 150 yards, 148, and shoot, drop one. The one I hit with the 80 grain ELD-VT spins, takes off running. I suck at hitting a running coyote. Made its way into the woods. Didn't recover it. Spent about an hour looking for it. Was not happy. Went to the next stand. I planned on going ahead and changing from the 80 grains back to my 58 grains. Go to what I trust. I know that works. I've made that 150-yard shot, you know, chest on facing shot plenty of times with this projectile and never had a runner or a spinner. It just hits them, drops them. They're DRT, so I can't argue with that. Tournament time, I didn't want to risk losing another coyote because, you know, in a numbers game, every coyote counts. So we get to the next stand. I roll down the window and scanning, and sure enough, there's a coyote about 40-50 yards in the field. Sneak out of the car or the truck. We see it moving off. It gets out to about 130 yards. We get it stopped. I shoot it with the 80 grain ELD-VTs, and the meat report was very satisfying. Dropped, no issues, not a twitch. Was DRT. There was a second coyote in the field. It kind of skirted off. It was about 250. Worked it in, got it to about 180 yards, 182 to be exact. Still using the 80 grain ELD-VTs. Shot it, dropped it, didn't move. I was like, okay, you know, maybe I pulled the first one, was off center. You know, shit happens in the tournament. You know, so we'll see. So go throughout the tournament. And I ended up shooting 7 coyotes, recovering 6 of them that I put bullets in. And on the third coyote that I shot with, it was 130 yards, quartering towards me, put it high on the shoulder. Coyote drops, gets up, runs towards me, and gets to the field and gets in the wood line. And the wood block, and this little patch of woods, probably 200 by 200 square, 200 yards square. So I start looking for it. Go to where I shot the animal. No blood. Watch, you know, saw where it went in the woods at. Looked there. Couldn't find a blood trail. Started walking down, seeing if I could just see the heat signature inside the wood line. Couldn't find it. Go to the opposite side of the wood block, and there it was, about 40 yards in the field. Dead. When I did the line measurements, it ran 135 yards from where I shot it to the wood line, and then from where the approximate point it entered the wood line to where I recovered it was another 147 yards. So coyote took a shot, center mass, high shoulder, and ran that far before it died. Hey, I understand coyotes are tough. They got an extreme, powerful will to live. However, when I'm making that shot with my 58 grain VMAX, I don't have that issue. I've been running the 58 grain VMAX for over a year now. I've killed well over 100 coyotes with it, and I have not had a runner, and I have not had one getaway. They may sit there and spin, or I knock them on their butt and they move around. Tail does a death spin, the dead, but they don't ever take another step after I hit them with this. So not too pleased and impressed with the 80 grain ELD-VTs. Go to another stand, shoot a coyote. Had a double come in, 135 yards. Shoot it, it drops. I transition to the second one. It's running away. It's at 345. I shoot, miss. It's running. It's leaving the county. I'm not going to shoot another one. Scan back to where I shot the first coyote, and I see it standing there. I know it's the same one. It's in the same area. It's standing there. You can tell by the way the animal was standing. It was definitely hurt. I could actually see blood running. It ended up being blood running out of the coyote's mouth, dripping out of its mouth to its to the ground. So it was dead on its feet, but it still stood up, and I shot it, put it down. This was about 3 o'clock in the morning. There was dew on the ground. When I went to recover the animal, you can see where I shot it the first time. You see the tracks of it breaking the dew through the grass of this wheat field, and you see where it came in, it stopped. You see where I shot it. You can see where it spun around, got up, and then ran another 20, 30 yards, and then when I shot it, and it dropped there. I did talk to Sergeant of Arms Eric Lee and a couple other buddies that are more knowledgeable in terminal ballistics and reloading of ammunition, and got to come to the conclusion that I think the 80 grain ELD-VTs need to be pushed a little bit faster. I'd like to see them around 3,100, 3,200 feet per second. I think you'll have a lot better terminal ballistics with it, getting that hydrostatic shock factor going on. With my 58 grain VMAXs, I'm running them close to 3,400 feet per second. So when these things hit, they're like a hand grenade. I do believe that the jacket on the VTs are a little bit thicker than the traditional VMAXs, which is going to require them to require a little bit more velocity, a little bit more speed, so when they hit, they produce that hydrostatic shock and come apart easier. With that little cavity, that air open cavity in there, I think that's a good thing. I think it will help in terminal ballistics, but I think you got to hit that threshold of speed for it to come in. I think an 80 grain ELD-VT, I wouldn't hesitate taking a deer with it at all. I think it'll do very well on deer, antelope size game. Last night I did kill a bobcat behind my chicken coop with it, and it put a gnarly hole in it, about a quarter size hole on the entrance. So it was facing me, and when I went to recover it, you could see a burn mark, like I just skinned it right from a corner of its lip, come down and entered into just on the animal's right hand side center mass of the chest, and it was like I said, a quarter size hole right there. Again, this was 47 yards, 48 yards from my back porch to my chicken coop, so about 50 yards. So at that 50 yards, I'm high up there in that 2,900 feet per second range. So I just mixed results coming from the VTs, which is not promising. Not looking forward to it. I was able to get some projectiles. I got 200 projectiles that I'll probably start reloading, just to trying to determine what powder to go with. I'm looking. There's no reloading information for the VTs on Hornaday's website or the app. So I thought about starting pulling apart one of these 80s and seeing what their charge load is and working up from there. I got lever, I got XBR, and I've got Exterminator and Varget. I'll probably start with Varget and XBR and see how they go from there. But you know, the times we're in, components are a little hard to come by. They are expensive, so I don't want to dip and dump a lot of money into developing a load for this cartridge when I have my 58s that work so well. When they came out with it, and I heard that Hornady was coming out with a Coyote round, a varmint round specific for the 6 arc, I was really hoping it would be in that 60 to 70 grain projectile weight. I've heard great things about the 70 grain nozzle ballistic tips. I've seen them work in a 243 and just hammer a Coyote at 300 yards a couple of times, but I haven't been able to develop a load with them. I haven't been able to get many projectiles from them. It's hard to come by to get the 70 grain nozzle ballistic tips. I've got some 80 grains of them. I got some 70 grains of them. And then when I ordered some factory seconds from Midway, that I was told that they would be the nozzle ballistic tips. They were just the factory seconds. Came in. They were not the factory seconds from Nosler. They were the factory seconds from the Sierra Blitz King. I ran the Blitz King in my 223 for a little bit. Was not happy with the performance. So I'll probably end up seeing if anyone needs those 70 grain Blitz Kings and 6 mil, and I'll probably get rid of them. Not looking to develop that load, but I would like to see a 70 grain projectile. Even a 65, 67 grain. I did run the 65 grain VMAX for a couple of months when I first got into 6 arc and was not happy with the performance. I had a lot of runners. I had some that would have to take, even a solid shot were taking more than 2 rounds to put down sometimes. So that's when I went ahead and dropped down from the 65s to the 58s. I still have a bunch of 75s and 87 grain VMAXs that I can develop a load with. But again, I do like speed. Speed kills in this game. I like to be around 3,200 feet per second, and sometimes pushing those 75, 87 grain VMAXs. And a gas gun at those speeds may not be possible, may not be safe. So toying with the idea of building a bolt gun 6 arc so I can take advantage of that higher PSI and push those 75 grain VMAXs up there around that 3,200, 3,300 feet per second range. So guys, this is just my very small sampling size of what I've used with the 80 grain ELD-VT V-Match 6mm arc projectiles. Not impressed with it. I think Hornady missed the mark on this. I'm not. They really, I think their marketing screwed us over, us being coyote hunters, with this. I think they should have been able to put enough products and components on the shelves where I can go to name your sporting goods store or online and buy factory ammo off the shelf with ease, or projectiles and components off the shelf with ease, versus having to be subscribed to everything and monitor the pages, because as soon as this stuff comes in, it sells out within a couple of hours. I think by doing that and then releasing the 22 ARC at the same time and doing this, I think it really hurt the sales of the 6 ARC as well as the component, because now they're having to develop components for 2 different things when they could have put more energy and effort and materials and resources into making more ammo, components, and factory ammo available to its consumers. I think Hornady screwed up on that one. But again, hopefully if you hand load, you're able to push these a little bit faster and you get a better result. Again, this was a very small sample size that I've had, but talking to other people who've ran this ammo, they're having very similar results as I did, and we all come to the conclusion that it needs to be pushed about 100 to 200 feet per second faster, and hopefully hand loading will get that done. Guys, please leave any comments, questions, concerns you may have. Reach out to us, let us know what you want to see. We have some videos coming out about yoke drags. We have some videos coming out about the IRA finder and cartridge calls. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe so we can grow this channel and continue bringing content. Thanks. Have a good one. Get out there and get them killed.